Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys All-Pro CeeDee Lamb taunts opponents, come a little harder. Dallas Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb was on the end of some big hits in the win over the Carolina Panthers, but he's got a message for those trying to take advantage of his pain. The Dallas Cowboys got themselves back on the winners list with a 30-14 triumph over the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium, with CeeDee Lamb playing a starring role. It has been well known for weeks that Lamb has been dealing with an AC joint injury in his shoulder, and while there's no risk of more damage, he is still dealing with pain and managing it as he goes. Against the Panthers, Lamb was on the end of some big hits, most notably from former Cowboy Xavier Woods, which incurred a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty, but CeeDee jumped straight up, seemingly unfazed. And 88 has a message for those who are looking to give him a bit extra when targeting his injured shoulder to inflict maximum pain. Try harder. I feel like it's a well-known thing that my shoulder is hurting, Lamb said. So I feel like these guys are definitely trying to put their best hit on me, so you got to come a little harder than that. I played on his, Xavier Woods, team for a couple years, so I know what he's capable of. It was a good hit by him, but gonna need to bring a little more. Lamb was a big factor in the Cowboys' win, having 116 receiving yards and a touchdown from his 9 receptions to lead the way again for the offense. That takes CeeDee's season totals to 94 receptions, 1,089 yards, and 6 touchdowns, and when we factor in that he hasn't had Dak Prescott for 6 games, that's quite the achievement. With 3 games left in the season, the end is in sight, but with Dallas showing its fighting spirit and Lamb playing through the pain barrier to the point where he's now taunting defenders to hit him harder, it won't be a quiet 3 weeks for the Cowboys. Which is just how they like it. Cowboys left with obvious Mike Zimmer decision after dominant win versus Panthers. Cowboys fans owe Mike Zimmer a big apology. Not only is the NFL a week-to-week league, but everything pertaining to the Cowboys is analyzed under a microscope. They have the most extensive media coverage of any team. So naturally, the defense's progression this season under Mike Zimmer, following Dan Quinn's departure, was going to make noise one way or another. After a full offseason of excitement and buzz, the Zimmer honeymoon phase ended almost immediately. The Cowboys couldn't help but give up 30 points, especially at home, and their once-vaunted pass rush had disappeared. Sure, Zimmer's scheme was always going to require growing pains as players adapted. However, nobody expected Dallas to impersonate one of the league's worst defenses during that process. Many Cowboys fans were ready to run Zimmer out of town. Well, it seems Cowboys fans may owe Zimmer an apology. The defense has played at a high level spanning over a month and turned in an utterly dominant showing against a Carolina Panthers offense that had been one of the hottest in the NFL. It is anyone's guess if Mike McCarthy will be back as head coach. It seems more likely than not that Jerry Jones will renew McCarthy's contract. Regardless of who is at the helm in 2025, though, Zimmer needs to be the defensive coordinator. Micah Parsons is the engine that makes everything go. That's obvious. It's no surprise the group's turnaround coincided with his return to the lineup. However, Zimmer has overseen career years from multiple players. Osa Odigizua is setting himself up to get paid in the offseason, while Jordan Lewis should get All-Pro consideration at the nickel position. Very quietly, Motzie Smith has turned a corner in year 2. An adequate rotation player in his career, Chauncey Golston has morphed into a starting-caliber defensive lineman under Zimmer. Golston has played so well that Cowboys fans don't want to lose him in free agency. That is a testament to Zimmer accentuating his players' talent. It also shouldn't be understated that Zimmer has had to navigate an obscene number of injuries. Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Darren Bland, Trayvon Diggs, DeMarvion Overshown, Marshawn Kneeland, Sam Williams, Wanya Thomas, Marquise Bell and Kalen Carson have all missed multiple games. Most of that list either missed half the season or suffered season-ending injuries. Down multiple starters on Sunday, the defense compiled 6 sacks and 4 takeaways. Sure, the Panthers aren't world beaters, but that takes nothing away from Zimmer dialing up a game plan that had quarterback Bryce Young seeing ghosts. The defense couldn't punch its way out of a paper bag to start the season, which is unironically when it was its healthiest. If anything, though, that proves Zimmer's scheme can work, dare we say thrive, regardless of who's in the lineup. We understand those who have reservations about McCarthy returning as head coach, but Zimmer has to be the Cowboys' defensive coordinator next year. Troy Aikman optimistic the Cowboys could poach Deion Sanders from Colorado. Deion Sanders leaving Colorado for a more promising head coaching job is one of the storylines of the college football season that just won't go away. After a 4-8 first season, Sanders led the Buffaloes to a 9-3 record this year and an Alamo Bowl matchup against number 17 BYU on December 28, and he helped coach star player Travis Hunter to a Heisman Trophy win on Saturday. Sanders' success has caught the attention of many, and he's been linked to several head coaching jobs in both college and the NFL. But despite being arguably the hottest commodity during the coaching cycle, Sanders is adamant on staying put. "I'm happy where I am, man," Sanders told reporters last month. "I've got a kickstand down." You know what a kickstand is? That means I'm resting. "I'm good, I'm happy, I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic about where I am. I love it here, truly do." Even though Sanders has stated he won't leave Colorado, those that know him still aren't convinced that's true. Count former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Troy Aikman, who was Sanders' teammate from 1996 to 1999, among them. During a recent interview with TMZ Sports, Aikman stated he believes there's still a path for the Cowboys to persuade Sanders to leave CU should their head coaching job open up. "I do know that Jerry, he's a world-class marketer," Aikman said. Deion is obviously not far behind that, and I think if you were to put the two together, it would be quite interesting. I think there's some compelling reasons as to why Jerry might have an interest. But I do know that Deion's done a great job there in Boulder, and when he says, "Hey, I've put the kickstand down," that's simply alerting everyone that if you want him, you're going to have to pay for it, which is not a surprise either. I do think that Deion could be enticed, especially with his son moving on and going to the NFL. Kickstands are not welded to the ground, you can raise them. In 4+ seasons with the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy is 48-33 with 3 playoff appearances. Dallas has struggled this season, however, as the team is just 6-8 and will likely miss the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Conversely, Colorado Athletic Director Rick George recently told a local reporter his goal is to keep Sanders in Boulder for as long as possible. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Deion Sanders? Leave your opinion in the comments.